Okay. So Sue isn't said he's gonna skip out on 2021 in general, but he did want me to bring up Scarlet Nexus.
And what is Scarlet Nexus?
Okay, so Scarlet Nexus is a RPG by Bandai Namco. Basically, any RPG they make is basically okay. Scarlet Nexus is an RPG. It's by Bandai Namco, and their most known RPG series is the Tales series, Tales of Vesperia, Exilia, Symphonia. You know those games.
Hmm?
So what? So Scarlet Nexus is by the people who made Tales of Vesperia, I think. Give me a minute, I gotta grab what he said about it, because I played a little bit of it, but I don't have that much to say on it. So, he played about 10 hours of it, and I played about, I think, 30 minutes, so basically this is an early impressions of what I thought of the game. But, basically they're hot anime guys fighting robots and stuff like that. But they're kids.
Oh, so Mega Man Zero, but it's an RPG.
Yeah, about that, I think. But so it's anime kids, and I basically don't like anime kids, but there's a story reason why they're anime kids. So it's basically like every other thing with powers in it, because all the characters in this game have powers, like superpowers, basically. So as a superpower rule, when you're a kid, your powers are like too powerful, basically. And so in Scarlet Nexus, they have this thing I don't exactly remember since it's not that fresh in my mind, but it keeps them as kids so that their powers are like too strong. So basically, it's a strategy way of thinking it.
So basically, they're just keeping them as kids so they can make them into bioweapons.
Yes. So what Sue had to say was that he played 10 hours, obviously, didn't finish it yet. Well, of course you're not going to finish it. It's 10 hours of an RPG. But he said he is enjoying it, the story, the characters, the plot, and the combat. I played a bit of it on Xbox One. It runs at it runs at 1080p, 30 FPS, but since I don't have an Xbox One X but an Xbox One S, it stutters a bit, but stuttering ain't gonna kill the game for me, because so far I think it's pretty fun. Yeah, that's all I have to say about Scarlet Nexus.
I don't really have much to say about it. RPGs aren't really my kind of genre.
All I know is that in between the failed recording and this recording, I played one game, 30 minutes of Scarlet Nexus, and 40 minutes of a game I just played last night. So I have about 3 new games on this podcast. So that was Scarlet Nexus. I think we should save our game of the year for last, personally. So what game did you play this year?
Well, out of all the 2021 releases, there's been like 3, and I figure I might as well get the one of the more notable ones out the way. Sonic Colors Ultimate.
Yay.
Oh.
The Sonic Central was not that good.
Yeah, but focusing on Colors Ultimate, the lead up to this game's release was disastrous, quite frankly. Primarily because these are the people trying to adamantly downplay any and all legitimate criticisms on Twitter, fighting like their lives depended on it. The more we saw of Colors Ultimate, the more we just kind of didn't have a lot of faith in the project. Right. It would have been cool to see Colors as be released on brand new HD hardware, well, relatively brand new anyways, as compared to being stuck on the Wii back in 2010, but
I mean, I wasn't expecting that much of the game. I just wanted Sonic Colors 1080p, 60 FPS, and that's basically what I got from this game.
And a whole host of other issues. Sonic Colors Ultimate is a prime example of how not to do a remaster, because at launch, this game was a mess. Like, graphical glitches were practically everywhere. There were a few bugs in the gameplay as well, and it also had a habit of crashing, which I experienced personally at the end of an egg shuttle run. I'm still seething about that, by the way. And of course, the Switch version took it a step further and decided to take us for a round of seizure time, which I have to question why that got past as production, because that is a serious health hazard and a major legal liability for Sega. Over time, we have gotten patches that have fixed some of these issues, seizure-inducing glitches, as especially, but it's still not the best Colors experience. You want to play Colors at its best? Just fire up Dolphin, install a 60 FPS hack and HD texture pack. The 60 FPS hack does cause a couple of quirks here and there, but it's still ultimately a much more stable experience, and with better lighting and whatnot.
I actually tried to play Colors on Dolphin without the texture pack because I don't mind how Colors looks. But definitely there is that wee smear to it, but I'm quite used to it. It started stuttering and there were some sound clipping issues, and we'll talk about sound clipping issues later if you know what I mean, because I've been talking about it all the time on Discord. But needless to say, I don't know. I enjoyed Colors Ultimate. Like, I wouldn't consider it my favorite game.
Like, had my fun with it. But that was because the base game of Colors was what was being presented, and with this lackluster coat of paint over it. Guess I might as well just go into the extra content the game added, which
is either to you meh or not that good or not worthwhile.
the best addition was the perfect homing attack, like allowing you to gain an extra bit of boost energy if you time your button press just right.
I feel like
it encourages not mashing the homing attack button and constantly just to get things going. I mean, and it also ends up addressing an issue some may have had with the vanilla colors, that being that for a boost game, there's not too much of it compared to Unleashed Generations and Forces. Definitely would like to see it come back in a future game. And as for the park tokens, I like that they do give you an option to customize Sonic, but I feel like it's a little too minimal. Gloves, shoes, boost aura, regular aura, that's pretty much it. Like, where's the gauntlet from Black Knight, the soap shoes in Sonic Adventure 2? It's just, it doesn't even compare to that of Forces.
at least in Forces you had your own character to customize, not just Sonic.
That, and you could get soap shoes.
I could see the Sonic Adventure 2 peeking inside of you. Even though Adventure 2 has its problems.
Anyways, as for one last thing about the park tokens, and you can also buy profile icons with them, which only really pop up during the Rival Rush mode, which, on that note, a really half-baked addition. Collect 15 red rings in a given zone, and you'll be able to challenge Metal Sonic to a race on a designated act. Right, and, well, first off, the Rival Rush screen pops up with the grace of an ad that tells you that there's hot, sexy babes in your area, which...
Oh, God.
A lot of mileage out of that one. And as for the mode itself, it's just a race against a glorified staff ghost. Us with Metal Sonic awkwardly floating and at certain points. And I feel like certain levels make it clear that they weren't exactly designed for this kind of mode. Starlight Carnival Act 1 especially, with how like half of it is automated.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, some of the rival rushes kicked my ass, and sometimes they do still kick my ass. Rival Rush reminds me of, excuse me, it reminded me of DS multiplayer, if you know what I mean. But like, not like, how to put this? Not Rush or Rush Adventure, more Colors DS if you're trying to get the 7th Emerald, because you have to race an AI, and the AI can sometimes kick your ass. That's kind of the same feeling I got.
Yeah.
The one thing that weirds me is that
not really too much of a reward for doing all the rival rushes anyways, beyond a couple of extra cosmetics. Like, it would have been cool to unlock a Metal Sonic skin, and so that you could run through the stages as him, you know? It would be a nice incentive for full completion, but such is life.
Yep.
And in terms of other new gameplay stuff, there's the Jade Ghost Wisp, which allows you to phase through walls using certain orbs, and, well, barring Tails save icons, hog tokens, and red rings, things that got shifted in terms of their placement, I don't really find a lot of use for it.
Like, of course, like, Jade Wisp obviously has been underutilized in this game, but for the few times I used him, I actually quite enjoyed it. One of my new favorite Wisps, actually. But at this point, I just don't want Wisp in Sonic games at this point. Like, they were cool back in Colors and maybe Generations in Lost World, but like Forces, I just wanted them to leave the series.
We gotta have our equivalent to Mario's power-ups somehow. So one last notable thing about Colors Ultimate, beyond whatever visual discrepancies there are the brand new remixes. Thanks for this version of the game, and I'm gonna be real, the exception of the boss remixes, there's the remix for Reach for the Stars and the Terminal Velocity remixes. I don't really think they're all that great, and, well, they don't really hold a candle to the original songs. And, well, the Reach for the Stars remix was already heard at the 30th Anniversary Symphony, so yeah.
Well, I'm kind of it's weird for me with when I first listened to them, I'm like, yes, best version of the Color soundtrack. But over time, when I listen to them, I'm like, I still stand by some, like Starlight Carnival Act 1, Planet Wisp Act 1, even though it's not aesthetically pleasing, but I still enjoy it either way. Terminal Velocity, the boss remixes, especially Reach for the Stars, but Tropical Resort Act 1, Sweet Mountain, they ruined Aquarium Park Act 1, which is a sin on itself, and they ruined my favorite vocal song, Speak With Your Heart, so
oh god,
I'm kind of
Speak With Your Heart's remix is just dog shit.
Why did they make a new
one? They already had a version that was really good at the 30th Anniversary Symphony.
I actually listen to the 30th Symphony one all the time because that's my preferred Speak of Your Heart. But once you get to the credits of Colors Ultimate, they don't have any of the guitar or bass or drum. It's just techno, and I don't hate techno. I just hate how it works with the new Speak of Your Heart. As you can tell, Speak of Your Heart is my favorite vocal song.
But yeah, on the subject of the Sweet Mountain remixes and Tropical Resort, those actively make me mute my TV until the 1.09 patch came along and gave us the option to just go back to the original OST, with the exception of Reach for the Stars, Speak With Your Heart, and strangely enough, Terminal Velocity Act 2, but that's neither here nor there.
I mean,
regardless, that option really should have been in the game from the get-go, and I'm gonna be real. Why did they even bother to redo the soundtrack for Colors? It's already considered one of Sonic's better musical offerings, by default.
Yeah, I don't know anymore. I mean, if given the option, I would still play the remixes because I think the good ones kinda outdo the bad ones in my opinion. Like, I don't hate the Aquarium Park remixes. I think they're okay, but they definitely don't hold a candle to the Wii version. And Asteroid Coaster sound the same in both versions, in my opinion.
Oh, the Aquarium Park remix is on that note. Why? I can understand that they were trying to make it sound more Japanese, but I don't know. The original Aquarium Park Act 1 kind of got that point across just fine, and in fact, the new, more explicitly Japanese instrumentation feels like it actually takes away from the melody that was present in the original version of the song.
Yeah. I don't know. Colors Ultimate, it wasn't. It was playable back then. It's gone up in playability with every patch that comes out, but I don't know. This one kind of disappointed me, even though I enjoyed it.
Just emulate the original on Dolphin if you can.
Or just be me and have a Wii U and just play with a classic controller because you're still trying to get those S ranks. I got the S ranks on Ultimate, but not the original colors. But I'm gonna probably do that after I get A rank off of SA2.
Neat.
Anyway, since I can't get this off my mind, Deltarune Chapter 2. Did you play Deltarune Chapter 2?
Nope, have yet to get around to it. I've only really picked up on it because my friends are into it. And of course, the fountain of memes that is Spamton. He's been everywhere. Can't escape him.
I don't want to see Spamton ever again.
On the contrary, I want to see him again and again. Because now's your chance to be a big shot.
Okay. So, my stance on Deltarune Chapter 2. Now, you know me. I love Undertale so much. Like, it's one of my favorite games of all time. It's every time I replay it goes up and up in value. When I played Deltarune Chapter 1, I'm like, it's good, but it doesn't have the potential that Undertale had. Deltarune Chapter 2 is like what I felt in 2018, but it's, how do I put this? It shows me that Deltarune has potential to be on par with Undertale. So, obviously, Deltarune Chapter 2 takes place after Chapter 1 because, you know, Toby Fox decided to pull a Walking Dead and do chapter-based stories now. So, it's in this one, you go to the library, and then you enter the Dark World from there. There are 3 new characters, Birdly, Noelle, and Queen, who is the wife of King, obviously. Now, I'm mixed on the new characters. Like, Queen is okay. I will protect Noelle with all my heart, honestly. And Birdly just kind of annoys me to where when I got...
Well, I mean, it's kind of tradition in gaming to have the bluebirds be assholes. Falco from Star Fox, for example, and Rivali from Breath of the Wild.
Oh, fuck
Birdly's
Rivali.
just the latest in that line.
Fuck Rivali. Anyway. But, I don't know. The new characters, like Noelle is on the good side, obviously, but they just weren't doing it that much for me. The combat has gotten significantly better, in my opinion. Like, it keeps the same traditions, but now it felt like you have to have a strategy to what you do. Like, I did a pacifist run for Deltarune Chapter 2 because every time I play Undertale or Deltarune, I try to pacifist run all the way. You are given the option to do team-ups. Sometimes they won't do as much as your regular acts usually do. So it's like, oh, okay, I got to figure out the fastest way to do this if I want to pacify them or recruit them, obviously. And I think this is a smart decision because it gives you more incentive to incentive to figure out different ways to pacify the enemy. Unlike Undertale, where in Undertale you only had one clear act that would instantly win the battle for you.
So it's more of a puzzle than ever before.
Yes. The bosses, some kick my ass, not gonna lie. But they were quite fun, except for the one with Birdly, where you have to save him, because Queen could suck my dick. And I just don't want to say Birdly, but it was fun trying to figure out how to save him. And I think
look, Birdly is a gamer. He doesn't die. He respawns.
Oh, God. So, I will say, the final boss of Chapter 2 is on par with, like, Toriel from Undertale. It is that good. Like, it's not like the traditional Deltarune Chapter 2 battle. It's like something completely different that you'll find in, like, a Metaton minigame from Undertale, but it is the best battle in Deltarune Chapter 2.
So what about Spamton?
Hold on, I need to look up who Spamton is again. Because I'm going to be honest, when I play some games, I just forget they exist. Spamton, Deltarune. Oh, this bitch. How do I feel about Spamton? He's annoying. I hate his boss fight. He's the worst boss in all of Deltarune. His attacks are basically...
You're not a big shot.
Oh, God. You're the protector of memes for a reason. I will say, the best part of Deltarune Chapter 2 isn't the gameplay. It's the ending. So, you know the ending of Deltarune Chapter 1, right? Where, like, he puts his heart in a cage and then pulls a knife out.
Nope.
Well, that's basically Deltarune Chapter 1. Enjoy. Deltarune Chapter 2 takes it to a whole nother fucking level. I am not joking. Like, it made me question if Chris was mentally sane for this world. Oh, God.
Humanity is nothing more but a mere social construct created by humanity to try and further sort out good and evil.
Yeah. Another thing that Deltarune Chapter 2 has going for it, the soundtrack is a bop like any other soundtrack from Toby Fox. Like, even though I don't like the boss, Spamton's boss song was really good. Birdly had a good theme. The final boss theme, so good. I am not that big on the city theme, but that's just me. But yeah, I think it's a great soundtrack. Definitely not as good as Undertale, because like Undertale has Heartache, Megalovania, Bone Trussel, Spear of Justice, Asgore, Death by Glamour, Hopes and Dreams, which is my fucking baby. But overall, I like Deltarune Chapter 2.
Maybe I'll get around to it one day.
It is free, and is better than most games that came out this year.
I mean, that's not hard to accomplish.
Well, yeah, there wasn't that many stuff, and we didn't have PS5s.
Well, either way. Hey, on the note of RPGs, there is one that I've just finished up recently. Neo: The World Ends With You. Neo Tui for short. A sequel
to The World Ends With You.
Years in the making. Ain't it to a DS called Classic that got a Switch itch port / remake / whatever in 2018 that contains some extra content that gets followed up on in this game. It's a damn good time. And the basic setup is that it's Rindo and his best friend Fret to get caught up in another iteration of the dreaded Reapers game. And this time, I'm ran by some very, very flamboyant looking dude by the name of Shiba. And, well, the basic gist is as such. Which there's a few teams playing the game, and the goal is to, get the most points overall and come out on top so you can get whatever wish you desire, including a free trip back to the RG, which is, the land of the living, since the Reaper's game takes place in its own separate plane of reality called the UG, the Underground. And if you come up in last, well, let's just say you get a serving of permadeath in the form of erasure.
I'm gonna be honest. It's so I haven't played The World Ends with You. I want to. I'm contemplating picking up the DS version because from what I hear, the Switch version isn't the best way to play the game. But
Well, I mean, tough luck, I'm afraid, because the Switch version has exclusive story content anyways. Back to Neo Tui. Rindo and Fred end up forming their own team called the Wicked Twisters, and over time they end up getting some recruits, including the very explicitly gamer nerd, Nagi, who was a bit of a simp over a fictional character by the name of Tomonami, who bears a resemblance to Minami Noto, who makes a return from the original. And, well, I think I might want to just cut off of talking about the members, because the next ones after Nagi end up being major spoilers, although two of them can be seen right on the box art. But the gameplay of Neo Tui is definitely a bit of a unique one. First off, you more or less have complete control over the random encounters. It's just need to press this R1 to scan so that you can see a bunch of noise symbols, and, you could choose to make contact with them to start a fight, or just kind of scan and off. And in gameplay, each party member gets a pin designated to a specific button, and all of which have various attacks and cooldown on periods alongside elements for whatever reason. Not exactly something that can be explained from someone who's probably not exactly a Tui aficionado, but it's definitely leaning more towards action RPG than that old turn-based stuff. Definitely worth considering. I'm picking up the game. It's on PS4, Switch, and if you don't value your integrity, Epic Games Store.
well, I own the Epic Games. Well, I have. I have an account on the Epic Games Store.
Anyways, one of the other things that did end up grabbing my attention was the art style, and in terms of other things about the presentation, the soundtrack is a massive bop. Definitely my pick for best OST of 2021, that's for sure. And on top of that, the English dub is really damn good.
That's surprising because I heard a lot of English dubs from Japanese exclusive games that have been translated. They kind of remind me of the One Dub for Kids rap. And it's not that good.
Trust me, the English dub will really make you love the characters.
I don't know. I like I said, I need to play the original, and not kind of contemplating picking it up on DS.
I mean, I just went straight into Neo Tui with only a sort of idea of what went on in the original. Still had a great time regardless. Again, because the Switch version of the original Tui has brand new story content that does get followed up on in this sequel, it's better that you play that version instead.
I don't know. I'll probably pick up the Switch version. So I guess you're done with Neo 20, whatever. The second Neo game.
The second TUI game.
Oh, World Ends
I've
with Tiku.
said that abbreviation so many times, and yet you're still hung up on the pronunciation enough it. Like, what's the hurdle that you're having to try and hop over?
Okay.
Eh,
Well, if you've been active on the Discord server we're in, I've been playing a lot of Kingdom Hearts on PC. Like,
darkness.
a lot. Like, by the point that if I was playing a drinking game of how many times they say darkness, I'd probably be dead by now.
Darkness.
So, I decided to test out Kingdom Hearts 1.5, 2.5 on PC with Kingdom Hearts 2 because it's the best one in the package, alongside Birth by Sleep because one is dated and Chain of Memories more specifically Chain of Memories makes you want to get kidney stones. So they're
Chain of Memories just makes me want to feel all the hurt.
So you like Chain of Memories?
Nope.
Oh, okay. I haven't played the DS games, so I don't know if those are worse than Chain of Memories.
358 days is about on par. I haven't gone to recode it yet. I really should do that.
I don't know. I heard 358 over 2 days. No, 358 days over 2. With fuck. Hate you, Nomura.
358 days over 2. You know, it has a good story, but that's pretty much what the only thing that's really got going for it. It's overall.
Yeah. So I played Kingdom Hearts 2 on PC for like the past week. So from what I could tell from the PC port, so I first played these games on PS4, obviously like any newcomer or supposed newcomers, because most of them were probably playing Kingdom Hearts 3. But the only problem I ran into, well, two problems, but the second one isn't as big because it only happened in like a non-gameplay section, well, just not in gameplay at all. But the first problem was that audio would sometimes just clip out to like where you'll be listening to like fucking One Winged Angel fighting Sephiroth, and the next moment you won't hear any music whatsoever. And it kind of takes me out of the mood in some fight scenes because the music in Kingdom Hearts 2 is amazing. The second problem is
true.
Like it's putting Kingdom Hearts 3 up for best soundtrack if I'm gonna be honest. Like fucking Sanctuary. Like, God, now I just want to talk about Kingdom Hearts 2. No, fuck it, let's do it.
Well, save that for a 2005/2006 discussion, okay?
It's really fucking hard. But so audio clipping, yeah, that's it. And this only happened once, but when I was exiting the game crashed on me. Like, no save file corruption like what happens in Sonic Colors Ultimate, thank God. But, like, it only happened that once, and from what I've heard, it never happened to anyone else. Which is kind of weird.
And again, Square Enix and PC ports have had a bit of a rocky history. Just recently, the Final Fantasy VII Remake PC port has come under fire for not being the greatest.
Yeah, I haven't played 7 Remake, so I don't know. But, overall, I've been enjoying Kingdom Hearts on PC. I think it's definitive way, more definitive than the Switch version. We can say that.
We don't count cloud gaming.
Then why is Hitman 3 on this list? Yet it came on Switch in 2021. So, and that's cloud gaming. I don't know. Like, I would have been like,
look, cloud gaming is the gaming equivalent to NFTs. All right.
We can say that for later. So overall, if you have a strong enough PC, which I know you don't, I I recommend Kingdom Hearts on PC, excluding that one crash in audio clipping, and I'm pretty sure that's going to get patched out later on because they are patching Kingdom Hearts on PC. It might be the definitive way to play Kingdom Hearts. I don't know, I have to play Dream Drop Distance someday because that's probably the only Kingdom Hearts game I haven't played yet.
You need to stop procrastinating on it and get to it.
But Kingdom Hearts 2 is so good.
I don't care.
Okay. Well, we brought it up earlier. Let's talk about the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters. So, really quickly, I'm going to grab a list of changes between 1 and Pixel Remaster changes. So, did you play any of the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters?
Nope, but I have experience with 1 and 2 and beat 4, 5, and 6 on their GBA versions. So, I have played Final Fantasy.
Okay, 10 differences between Pixel Remasters and the original. Okay, so I only played Final Fantasy 1 Pixel Remaster. And my opinion on Final Fantasy 1 is that I thought it was good. I just hated grinding for the final boss. That was it. But if you wanna, if I'm gonna play, like, if I'm just like having a hard day and I want to play an RPG, Final Fantasy 1 might be the pick for the day.
After all, you just want to go and kill chaos.
Yeah. So the graphics have been overhauled, not looking like shitty NES graphics. And I'm a bit mixed on the graphical style. Like, the character models, that look fine, the landscapes look fine, but magic and water look so good. Like, why did they go so hard on the like, not just the magic, like, why did they go hard on the water? Like, that shit looks like it came from that looks like it came from Octopath Traveler. That's how good it looks.
Look, they're trying to please that one guy from Miiverse who loved water in video games, alright? Leave them be.
Sure. Music got remastered, and no wonder this thing was nominated for best soundtrack on the Steam Awards, because it is so good.
My biggest concern for the Pixel remasters is whether or not they bring in the extra content for some of these games that were introduced in the GBA versions, FF3 notwithstanding, because it was never released on the GBA, and from what I've heard, they haven't done that, which, why? Look, Final Fantasy 1 on GBA and PSP had a bunch of extra content, and part of it would also give you a bonus boss against Gilgamesh from Final Fantasy V, who would also show up as another bonus boss in FF6 GBA, and I do have to wonder why they're cutting out additional content that does nothing but adds to the experience for those that are looking for more than just beating up the main villain and calling it a day.
Yeah. Also, the font looks ugly. But if you watch this Some Call Me Johnny video on Final Fantasy V, which I'm pretty sure you did.
Yes.
Because we all know you love Final Fantasy V. But, you can change it, and you can change it since it's on the PC, and just replace 2 textures. But I'm too afraid to do that. Like, but alongside modding Sonic Generations, I'm kind of afraid to do anything else with like adding or deleting stuff off the files. What else do they add? They add a fast forward button, which is godlike, because I'm pretty sure I haven't played the original 6 Final Fantasies, but all I know is that from what I heard, they're very slow.
Well, I mean, with the introduction of the active time battle system in FF4, you do have the option to either make it slow or make it go at Sonic speed.
I haven't played Final Fantasy 4 yet. I picked up 2 not that long ago. Might play Kingdom Hearts 2, so gonna be a while since I totally play it.
Final Fantasy 2 is
I heard nothing but bad things about Final Fantasy 2.
The best thing about it is the main villain, Emperor Mateus, and that's pretty much it.
So not that much. So is it contender for worst Final Fantasy? Or is that still going to be 13 or 13-2? Because I heard nothing but shit about 13 and 13-2 as well. And 13
no.
And 13-3.
First off, but 13-2 has actually got its fair share of fans, more so than the original FF13, but also, yeah, FF2 is generally considered among the franchise's weakest titles. Like, God.
So I take it you're not a 13 guy.
Haven't really gone around to the games yet. I'll probably play 13-2 since that's generally considered the best one.
Wait, people like 13? I thought people hated 13.
Well, I mean, there's a reason why. With Final Fantasy, every game is the best and worst in the series. You're always going to find people who will love any of the games, I guarantee it.
All I know is that I enjoyed my time with 1, might play 2, the usual. I don't know anymore. I don't know what to do anymore. All I know is that people, if whenever I hear 2, I think of that one song, Call Me Johnny clip, where it's just him saying, play 5, play 12 Zodiac Age, play whatever play Tactics, and the award-winning Final Fantasy 14 online with the award-winning Heaven's Word.
We are not here to talk about the critically acclaimed MMORPG FF14. We're here to talk about games from 2021.
Well, I mean, Endwalker did come out in 2021. But I haven't played Endwalker. I've only played up to Realm Reborn. And I don't want to talk about Realm Reborn at all. Well, wait, does the free trial go to Realm Reborn or Heaven's Word?
It goes up to Heaven's Ward. Anyways,
well, then I need to...
More games in 2021.
What else? Well, I know you only played Sonic Colors Ultimate Neotony and your Game of the Year, as well as my Game of the Year. So basically, you're just going to be commentating for the rest of this. Oh, God. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury.
Oh, yes. Bowser's Fury.
Furry?
Final boss of 3D World.
Hey, that boss theme, though. So good.
Well, I mean, I've had experience with the original 3D World on Wii U. It was fairly solid.
It just feels like New Super Mario Bros. In 3D.
No, that's Super Mario 3D Land. 3D World at least tries to be a bit more original.
So I think we should first give our opinions on 3D World, since this technically is a port of 3D World. So I enjoyed 3D World when I first played it. Like, if you held me at gunpoint back then, I would have said it was my favorite Mario game. And that was before... No, that was after I played Galaxy. But 3D World, over time, it's just gotten lower and lower. But when I played the port, it's one of the best Wii U ports I've ever seen. And keep in mind, I have not played Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on Switch. Or Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze ever.
Well, I mean, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze on Switch is really overpriced because all it really adds is a funky new mode.
So pick up the Wii U version, got it.
Well,
but I don't
loading up the world map takes forever, so...
And I don't get that 1080p unless I want to stretch out the 1080p. Yeah, I'll just get the Switch version when it's on sale. But 3D World, after I played this port, I'm like, it was a lot better than I thought it was after I played it on Wii U. But port differences. They increased the speed of the characters. Love it. Like, slowest character in Switch is the fastest character. It's the same speed as the fastest character on Wii U. That's how fast it is. I think it's 60 frames per second. Let me check. I know the... Wait. Oh, I had this thing.
Pretty sure the Wii U original ran at 60 as well.
Here, Switch games at 1080p. Wii U didn't run at 1080p, but the Switch version doesn't run at 1080p. It probably runs at 1600 by 900p like most Switch games.
Anyways, Bowser's Fury.
That was great. That was a great addition, not gonna lie. Now, I've said this to you already. Not a huge fan of sandbox Mario games. I think 64 is dated. Sunshine is great. Odyssey is disappointing to me.
Oh, don't let the Mario fans hear you on that one.
They hate me already. Like,
Good to know.
I don't mind linear Mario. It's just that if they copy and paste it, I'm gonna get annoyed. Hence why New Super Mario Bros. U is on the lower end of my Mario spectrum. I prefer Mario games that mix linear design with sandboxy elements, like, you know, a Galaxy or 3D World in this case. Because when I was playing the port, I'm like, there's some, like the 3D World part of 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, there were more sandboxy elements than I remembered. Like, you actually had to, like, explore the level to find the green stars or stamps. And that was...
Make a stamp collection for no other reason than to have a stamp collection.
I mean,
the only time you're likely to have one.
I mean, in the Wii U version, you got nothing but shit. You got nothing but, like, Peach shitting and stuff like that on Miiverse, so can't really blame them. But Bowser's Fury might be better than Sunshine in the sandbox department. So, I love the cat power-up, and it felt its most... So, I love the cat aesthetic for 3D World. It was great. It went to max level in Bowser's Fury, and I love it. I like the world design. I think it has that 3D feel to it without having to lose the linear design with 3D, if you know what I mean. Like, it's able to keep it, but it was able to do it in a sandbox element.
It actually also lets you carry several power-ups at once, you know, which is a pretty nice addition, all things considered. Something that 3D Mario has always struggled with is trying to integrate the traditional power-ups into 3D, which we've seen with Galaxy hasn't always been the best. With
Spring Mushroom still sucks.
They finally managed to get something down, and, you know, it'd be interesting to see that come back in a brand new, fully original 3D Mario.
Yeah. Yeah, I think 3D World has my favorite set of power-ups in the Mario series. Because Cat Bell is best power-up. Let's be honest. Oh, wait, no, but the Ice Flower in Galaxy. Ugh. But also the Cloud Flower from Galaxy 2. Ugh.
The Blue Shell in New Super Mario Bros. DS takes the cake.
I use that for speedrunning and nothing else. If I find it, I'm just going to waste it. Also, we all know what the worst power-up is, Mini Mushroom.
No, Spring Mushroom is far worse.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Why'd they bring that back in Galaxy 2, of all things?
Anyways, he's from what I've seen of Bowser's Fury, it's definitely interesting, but as someone that kind of just stopped caring about Mario a long time ago, probably won't be buying it for a good while.
I mean, if it's on sale, I highly recommend it. It's one of the best Wii U ports, like I said.
Well, I mean, it's a first-party Nintendo game. When is it ever going to go on sale?
I'm surprised this is a first-party Nintendo game that doesn't run at a... Not just like a first-party Nintendo game, but also a Wii U port first-party Nintendo game that doesn't run at 1080p, because every other Wii U port runs at 1080p. Like, it wouldn't have been that hard. Also, Fury Bowser is Fury Bowser versus Kaiju Mario is like the most ultimate fan fiction you can make on Reddit.
Nah, that's tame. We can go higher.
We are not. No, we are not even going to talk about that in 2019. I know what you're thinking about. I know what you're thinking about. But yeah, 3D World plus Bowser Fury, get the thumbs up. Not my favorite game of 2021, but it's up there. I just want to get this out of the way. Skyward Sword is underrated, and Skyward Sword HD makes it better, in my opinion.
Really should get around to playing that at some point.
It's up there, in my book, as one of the best Zeldas. So, what though? Obviously, as someone who grew up with a Wii and doesn't mind motion controls, Skyward Sword is is a great Zelda game. I definitely think it how do I put this? The last act, excluding the final bite of Girahim and Demise, kind of doesn't work for me, if I could put it that way. Like, in the game, you're going to the surface multiple times, obviously, to find Zelda, or, like, you know, your basic Zelda thing. But you explore new areas each time you go back. On your third visit, which is basically by the time you're at the third act, you're just not doing much. You're just in the same old area doing some mini game that's bad or boring. Like, fuck Tadpole.
That's the biggest issue I've seen with Skyward Sword's design, is that it's got quite a bit of filler.
I can deal with filler, but with the third act of Skyward Sword, it just doesn't work for me, and it's the low point of the game, in my opinion. Like, I can't handle the tadpole collecting. I can tolerate stealth, but I could tolerate the stealth section in Elden Volcano. I will say, though, your revisit to Lanayru Desert, you actually explore a new area and you get new content. That is where the game picks up, in my opinion, after the lowlifes. Port changes, or specifically remake changes. 1080p, 60 FPS makes the game look smoother, faster, even though the tornado is dither heaven. You could skip word dialogues. You could skip cutscenes. I don't need to mention how great that is for replaying the game. What else does what other changes are there?
It gives you the option to, stick to buttons and sticks for the combat instead of using motion controls.
Oh yeah, that's
so
true.
From what I've heard, it's probably better to just play with the motion controls as intended.
Yeah, there's also Fi's optional tips have been reduced, so it doesn't really have to bother you. Some tutorials have been skipped and are just optional, like the rolling into trees or grabbing the cat. When you collect an item, like a gratitude crystal or a amber relic, you don't have to make a fucking compilation about collecting every single one like Sugar Conroy did. You could just pick them up and you won't have that happen ever again. The amiibo, but I don't own the amiibo. What it does is that it can send you back to the sky in Skyloft, I think, or just the sky in general, and you could do whatever you want. Then when you rescan it, you can head back to the ground where you last lifted off.
Which is really dumb that they locked that behind an amiibo that not everyone's gonna have.
They did restock them at my Target, so and not at not at a price raise, just at the normal price it was sold at. So I might pick it up. I don't know. I'm still iffy on collecting Zelda amiibo because they really don't add much, but this one adds a lot. I don't know. But on to the note of the controls. Loftwing controls in the original suck ass. I will just say that.
It's a good thing that probably don't spend too much time in the sky.
Yeah. I hate flapping the Wii remote to emulate flapping a bird flapping up in the sky. It's shit. I hate it. In fact, when I first played Skyward Sword, I didn't know you could do that. So I spent 30 minutes just trying to send pumpkin soup to the fucking teacher. But then it's expired. But then I have to go back. Playing the original is like playing with molasses, like good molasses, basically, with Loftwing controls. I don't know how I was able to have the durability to go through that. But I like how you can switch between button and motion controls on the fly, because I'm going to say this outright. I played button controls for 2 hours. I'm not used to it. I need motion controls with Skyward Sword. So I play with motion controls.
I'll probably stick to motion controls when I do get around to the game for the authentic Skyward Sword experience.
I will say the motion controls are a bit more iffy than the previous one. Not that over-responsive, but like when you have to like swing your sword, you have to like swing it to your other side of your body, basically. And it's not natural in any way, shape, or form. Well, natural as in like, not natural for my body. Because I'm so used to like just swinging it and stuff like that, not needing to like basically turn my body like this is Zumba or something. But when I'm on the ground, I am motion control. When I'm in the air, I choose button controls because I can just click a button to flap the bird's wings.
Wait.
So needless to say, if you want to play Skyward Sword, this is definitely the definitive version. You don't need a Wii, you don't need Dolphin. All you need is a Switch OLED if you're lucky to have one, or a Switch Lite. But why would you want a Switch Lite? Because no motion controls. And you just just own a copy of Skyward Sword HD. It's not that hard. It only costs you like about, depending on the Switch model you have, about $360. Instead of buying a PC with like all this giant tech for about $1,000. Anything to say about Skyward Sword HD from what you saw?
Not really. Feels like something I'm gonna have to actually experience before I talk about it extensively.
Yeah. Skyward Sword's great. Okay, we're gonna talk about this one, and you know what I'm gonna talk about.
Metroid Dread.
Pokemon Brilliant Diamond.
What?
We'll talk about Metroid Dread later, don't worry. But I played Pokemon Brilliant Diamond recently, and why is Game Freak like this? Now then, like I said in the 27, I said this on Discord. I am a bit mixed on Game Freak right now. Brilliant Diamond was basically the sticking point to that now.
Well, all I'm gonna say is Platinum is still the definitive Gen 4 experience.
Why didn't they add the new content from Platinum to these games? It needed it. Not only because they added new content, but they added new Pokemon. Fan favorites like Gallade.
Correction. those Pokemon were available in Diamond and Pearl, but
Did you really have a rolled spec? Did you really needed a copy of Pokemon Emerald, which do you really need a copy of Pokemon Emerald to grab a rolls, which are very rare to find to begin with, just so you could get Gallade in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl?
yes.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. So, I like Pokemon Gen 4. I don't think it's the best generation like my brother and most people, but I enjoy it. I prefer Gen 6, no, not Gen 6, sorry, not Gen 6, Gen 7 and Gen 3 over Gen 4. I'm probably on some watch list right now.
It's Pokemon. Everyone's on a watch list.
It's still not as good as Black and White, I am sorry.
Well, I mean...
So, Game Freak didn't develop this game. They actually got a new studio to do it. And it shows. Like, people say Sword and Shield felt cheap. Brilliant Diamond feels like the cheapest game ever made. Like you can slap that thing on iPhones and it will run perfectly well.
No, the cheapest game of all time is Life of Black Tiger free.
Is that on the Jaguar?
We don't talk about the Jaguar.
Why? Because it had Bubsy. Because it had a Bubsy game on it. Never mind. Anyway, I don't mind the chibi art style. It still looks the same as the reveal trailer, and I just wanted them to update it after the reveal trailer. We didn't get that, so I'm semi-disappointed. The graphics look fine. I like Gen 4's roster. I'm more of the opinion that each Pokemon game should have original Pokemon for its base campaign. Then when the post game starts, then we got the old Pokemon like Black and White. But it's Pokemon Black. It's fourth gen. I'm used to it at this point.
Well, that and when Gen 5 cut out a lot of the original Pokemon for the main campaign, people lost their shit.
I still don't know why, because I thought that was one of the strongest. I'm on King K's side with this. I think that was the smartest decisions Game Freak's ever made. Because you didn't have to rely on old Pokemon to do all your work for you like in the previous games. You had to come up with a new team to like do stuff that you're not used to, so that you could get attached to the new Pokemon. Brilliant Diamond, I used the same team: Empoleon, Staraptor, Luxray, Roserade, Lucario, and Garchomp.
Not even bothering to use a Crobat?
No.
Weak.
I am not weak. I just don't want to use a Crobat. And I just don't want to raise a Zubat in general. And I don't want to deal with that friendship bullshit.
No, man, that friendship can catch up to you.
Besides, I already have Lucario, and he requires friendship.
Crobat is better.
No, Lucario is better. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. I'm just really sorry you're wrong. But,
No, I'm not a Weasley.
I don't get it.
Someone hasn't been catching up with Harry Potter.
I haven't seen Harry Potter in like 2 years, okay?
Neither have I.
Oh, Ron Weasley. Weasley. Sorry, I forgot. You're from Europe. That's where Harry Potter is basically God to you guys. And where you're...
Anyways, Brilliant Diamond. What about it?
It's fine. It's better than Sword and Shield, but not by much. But if we're getting rid of the nostalgia, Sword and Shield is probably better. I don't hate Sword and Shield. I just felt disappointed afterwards. That's it. but it does have one of my new favorite Pokemon. It has Pokemon I love in it right now, like the Galarian Rapidash are the cool ass Pokemon. They took bad fire type and made it into fairy type, and fairy is second best type next to water.
Personally, Pokemon just hasn't been the same ever since it made the transition to France.
Oh yeah, most of the games are in France. But Gen 7 though, Gen 7's in America, is in Hawaii, and that's the best 3DS one.
Like Gen 6 was in France, and that was the same time when mainline Pokemon really began to just become a lot more iffy. Like, they basically had something great going in Gen 5, and then Gen 6 came and went. Gen 7 had a good opening, but Ultra Sun and Moon. And, of course, Gen 8 ain't doing so hot.
All we have to do is wait for Gen 9, and please, if I want Gen 9, I want, like, a Scott. Me and my dad joke about this, but in Sword and Shield, we wanted I know this is going to be kind of offensive, but we wanted a Scottish trainer who was like, if it's not Scottish, it's crap. I probably pissed off my whole country.
Well, to be honest, I mean, a lot of people just preferred Gloria over Victor, if only because he was the Scottish trainer and therefore, the one that became a meme.
Yeah. Although this is true for like every Pokemon game, the soundtrack slaps. But not because it's black and white, obviously. Actually, no, I think Alola had my favorite. Yeah, black and white had that End to the End Power theme. That was really catchy. God, can we like just go to 2011 next time so we can just talk about Sonic Generations and Pokemon Black and White? Anyway,
Sure.
We don't have that many games left. Don't worry. Early impressions like Kena, Bridge of Spirits. I'm pretty sure you never heard of this game.
I've heard of it, never really saw it beyond the trailers.
It looks so beautiful. Like, I think this is most people. Realistic graphics don't age that well. But Kena does the smart thing by mixing them, giving it the best of both worlds, in my opinion. Kena is and this is going to date this podcast, this is the prettiest game I've ever played. And I played Spyro the Dragon on max settings.
Neat.
So, Kena... Oh, shit, I'm out of breath already. Give me a minute. So, Kena Bridge of Spirits is an action-adventure game. You are a spirit guide. You're basically how to put this? You help spirits move past death, basically. It's like it's like Spirit Fair.
Spirit Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
But I never played.
My IRL friends loves that game.
I haven't played Spirit Fair. But you're at this like abandoned village with these two kids and another spirit who helps you. And you're trying to calm this spirit down. And that's what I got out of the hour I played of it. But I think... So, the main mechanic, you're obviously a spirit guide, and you can control spirits. These little spirits called Tots. The Tots are really adorable in this game.
And they kill things.
They kill plant-like things. You kill the things, though.
Good enough, I guess.
So, I enjoy the plot so far. I said this on Discord. The soundtrack is like the game Journey to me, where I want to listen to it when I'm ascending to heaven. Like you know those.
While the song I want to listen to when I'm ascending to heaven is "Unawakening Float" from Secret Rings.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say like Sanctuary or like, Dearly beloved. Because those songs are both bops. Now this game has a bit of puzzles in it, basically. Puzzle platforming, if you would like to say it, where you have to use the tots in creative ways to get, like, new items and stuff.
Basically, the game requires that you remember that you have this thing called a brain and put it to use.
So make sure you don't have a smooth brain when you're playing the game, basically.
Or don't be a game journalist.
Fuck IGN. They gave Xenoblade Chronicles a bad review. But, you can use the tots in creative ways, like, oh, you can, like, pick up this block and move it here. Oh, you can actually, like, get rid of this thing that will help me, like, get back up if I fall down or stuff like that. They're basically, like, servants that you're controlling. Actually, that sounds worse than I thought. All I can say is that Kena Bridge of Spirits, when I finish it, it'll probably be one of my new favorite games, maybe. Depends on how I feel about it. Might even take over my favorite game of the year, but like, my favorite game of the year is one of my new favorite games of all time. But we're not talking about that yet, because we gotta talk about Monkey Ball.
Oh yeah, that
Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania
remake of 1 and 2 that comes with
Deluxe.
Kiryu-chan.
So, Super Monkey Ball. I played the 3DS game. The 3DS game is not good.
The 3DS game exists.
It's not good.
It exists.
That was the only Monkey Ball game I played. I emulated the first one, but I didn't get that far since I was busy with school and playing other games at the time. I picked up Monkey Ball Banana Mania when it was on sale for Black Friday. It was like, I think, $20. And it was the special edition that came with an art book and some cosmetics. Like, I like the art for Monkey Ball, so I didn't mind getting the art book. All I can say is that Monkey Ball Banana Mania, it's good, but that's it. I can see the appeal of Monkey Ball Banana Mania, but a Monkey Ball more specifically, but I don't think it's doing it for me right now. Now, from what I've heard, it's like, so it's a remake of all of the Monkey Ball 1, 2, and Deluxe. And I couldn't tell, I'm gonna be honest, I couldn't tell a difference between the original and the new physics, if I'm being honest.
Well, I mean, this new version of the Monkey Ball experience allows you to play as Kiryu from Yakuza.
Did you even play Yakuza?
I have yet to play Yakuza. I purchased Yakuza 0 for like $4.
You know we have we have friends, online friends, who are obsessed with Yakuza.
Yes, I know. I'll get around to playing it eventually.
I know I should have mentioned Yakuza 0 in the 2017, but then I look up the release date was actually 2015, so probably gonna wait till the 2020 video to talk about Yakuza 7 when I get to it. But Monkey Ball Banana Mania, new art style, new redone stages, all that stuff. I'm not a huge fan of some of the later stages. Like, there's this one where you have to catapult yourself to the goal, and let's just say I died a lot on that stage, and I don't like it that much.
Well, I mean, Monkey Ball is very much purely about mastery over the simplest of mechanics.
Well, yeah, I know that.
All you really do is just basically move a maze about so that you'll start rolling, and yet it can be hard as balls.
Yeah. I don't hate Monkey Ball, don't get me wrong. It's just not doing it for me. I played all the stages in the first game, some of the second game, and I have yet to get the deluxe. But I'll try to make it my thing this year to try to beat the game. But overall, I'm having fun. I enjoy it. It's just I still don't. I see the appeal of it. It's just stages kind of don't appeal to me that much.
Hey.
There's not much to add. Last game before we talk about our game of the year, Monster Hunter Rise.
Oh yeah, that got a collab event or two with Mega Man X Dive.
Wait, it did?
Where
Oh yeah, Mega Man X
oh,
Dive.
yeah.
Like this. Should we mention Mega Man
Yeah.
X Dive since it got a PC release?
We'll only mention the Monster Hunter Rise crossover event stuff. Otherwise, we'll save that for another time. Anyways, means the Monster Hunter
We'll save that
Rise
for
event
2022.
in Dive, they gave us Hunter versions of Rico and Via, two of the game's OCs, alongside a Rathalos Armor X, and in a brand new event in a Taiwan version, and monster-themed armors of both Zero and Iris, who is totally not the best girl in the eyes of the developers. No siree, Bob.
We just need to keep anime girls off of anime games at this point. Oh wait, I just realized if we do that, we're not gonna get that moolah. But Monster Hunter Rise, I love it. It's great, actually. I feel like I'm done with the game, but I'll probably get back to it since it's just nonstop monster hunting. But that's just the appeal of Monster Hunter. But it's like Animal Crossing. I'll get back to it at some point.
Like Animal Crossing, except you partake in the greatest sport of all time.
Killing
Murder.
animals. So I enjoy Monster Hunter Rise. It has very fluent combat.
Is Monster Hunter Rise a Switch exclusive, or is it multi-plat?
It was a Switch exclusive for I think a year or a few or like most of the year, but then it got a PC port in January.
And I'm gonna assume it's not on PS4.
I don't think so. Let me check. You're obsessed with a PS4.
Look, if I'm gonna play third-party titles, I'll typically take the PS4 over the Switch.
Switch or PC. Those are your options.
Damn.
I mean, I don't mind it being Switch exclusive because it's not bad looking. Like, I mean, is it a 1080p game? I don't think so. Oh. It's a non-native resolution. Ew. So 1280p, right? No, not 1280. No, 720p, right? Substandard HD. This game runs at 1344 by 756p. That means it looks blurry on a Switch. Or more pixelated than normal.
The Switch has always been underpowered anyways.
Yeah. That's why we don't play third parties on Switch. Except for Sonic Forces. And Sonic Mania.
And Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition.
I have not played Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition, and I don't care. Because I'm not paying another copy of Devil May Cry 3.
Weak. Anyways.
Why am I weak when I can play...
series I've yet to really touch. It's now considered one of Capcom's best-selling franchises, but I also feel like the games are best experienced with other people, and I typically just fly solo instead.
You got me now.
Probably...
You have Monster Hunter World on
As I
your
was saying... Maybe if I'm willing to pay for Switch Online again, and I might pick up Rise sometime in the future. Missed opportunity here. You can't play as Rathalos Armor X as a tie-in to Dive. Come on.
We got Sonic, though. and I'm not joking when I say this, in one of the Sonic missions, you can hear Live and Learn play in the background.
Well, we're certainly heading on the edge tomorrow. I remember there was a Sonic event for Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate that actually brought back Caliburn from Black Knight. Good times.
All I will say is that
keep that in mind.
All I would say is that if you're playing Rise, switch your weapon as soon as possible, because the longsword is ass. Like, it is worse than the fucking battle axe. That's how bad it is, in my opinion.
Sure.
All I know is that if you pick up Rise, you got a partner right here, because I am willing to play Rise with you any day. Now then, we get to move on to the main event, the creme de la creme of video games, the Game Awards. Oh, and maybe Metroid Dread. And maybe Metroid Dread.
Metroid Dread. A game that was in the conceptualization stages of development or whatever for since the mid-2000s. Oh god, it's been 15 years.
It was 16 years, actually. 16
Close
years.
Enough.
All I know is that...
It feels so long.
I mean, people were dropping hints about Dread since Prime 2, I think it was, with the Dread announcement thing.
Prime 3 had a scan log.
Oh, yeah, it was 3. Yeah, it was 3.
Something about,
Project Dread.
But that thing's been in development hell for years.
The funny thing was...
In the meantime, we got AvatarAidan and Federation Force.
And Samus Returns.
Speaking of Samus Returns, they brought back Mercury's Steam to make Metroid Dread, and I will say...
Dread makes Samus Returns look like a piece of shit.
Oh, yeah. The cat's out of the bag. Metroid Dread, best game of 2021. Absolutely worth the price of admission.
Yes. All I can say is that you were wrong of thinking that Dread... About that, most people was like, "Oh, Metroid Dread, it's gonna be it got announced with the Metroid Prime 3 scan." I'm like, the developers went on ahead and said that was just a coincidence. It wasn't official.
You gotta be kidding me!
I am not joking. There is a Too Many Games Metroid Dread Secrets video, and it literally goes into the development of Metroid Dread, and that was in the video.
Well,
but needless to say, Metroid Dread, yeah, my game of the year. And this was a year, that was, 2021 was a year where I was starting to get into Metroid with Metroid Zero Mission, Metroid 1, AM2R, Metroid 2.
Well, I mean, to be honest, on that note, the sheer presence of Metroid Dread managed to drive up more sales for other games. Like, during that time, if you checked the Wii U and 3DS eShops, you'd begin to see Metroid games be taking some of the top spots, and it's pretty good to see.
Yeah, it is good. I think Metroid should be one of Nintendo's flagship titles.
Well, I mean, in the West it kind of is, but anyways. So, Metroid Dread. Its gameplay is outstanding, like some of the best in any 2D Metroid game. They've refined the additions they brought in from Samus Returns, like the melee counter. You now do it on the go, which, stops it from becoming a pace breaker.
Yes.
360-degree aim is always welcome. And I love the new Aeon abilities you get, like the Phantom Cloak, and the Flash Shift, the latter of which is really excellent for combat scenarios, because it makes bosses feel so much more satisfying to go up against, because it's really good.
Yeah.
The scan is a late game upgrade this time, but I guess
I'm used to it. My main okay. I know it's gonna sound like I'm shitting on Samus Returns, but if I talk shit about Samus Returns and this video gets a lot of views, Metroid fans are gonna kill me like they did Kid K. Samus Returns.
Eh,
I liked the Aeon abilities in Samus Returns. I just felt like the one where you scan your environment came in a bit too early.
mm.
There's a Metroid fan eyeing me down right there next to me on this podcast. Hi.
Yeah, I didn't really take issue with the scan pulse being an early game upgrade.
It's
Hell,
just that by
since
that
there's
point, you're
no
not gonna have like not even morph ball, not even a morph ball or morph ball bombs.
well, I mean, you also don't really have any map stations, which prior to Samus Returns were commonplace in the series. So I guess that's why it was made an early game upgrade.
Yep. Like
Anyways,
the Emmy
a
are
speaking of
terrifying.
upgrade. Oh yeah, the Emmy are basically the SAX doped up on crack. They were explicitly given their own zones, but once you walk into them, you are basically signing on yourself to either sneaking around like a solid snake, or basically running like a little bitch for dear life. And if those freaky mechanical abominations have the ability to hear the sound of Samus moving, and of course any shots she fires. Players can crawl all over the walls, and some of them even take advantage of certain power-ups they house is to be able to give chase. The
Like
speed booster one in particular is terrifying of how quickly it can catch up to you.
Emmy almost gave me a heart attack when I first played this game on Halloween.
Oh yeah, the purple Emmy near the end of the game is like really terrifying because it can just hear you from everywhere and has the wave beam, which, yikes.
We all know how dangerous the wave beam is. But
Yeah, and it's not exactly all that fun to be on the receiving end of it.
I
Anyways,
like the Emmy more than the SAX because replaying Fusion, you're always gonna know where the SAX is going to be, and that's kind of a problem in my opinion. Like it reduces the scare factor of Fusion, and after playing AM2R, Fusion is no longer the scariest Metroid game. Like if I streamed AM2R to you, you will hear me scream a bunch of times going after some beta Metroids. But Dread, it's the second well, like if we're talking official Metroid, it's in my opinion the scariest. If we're including unofficial, AM2R is the scariest. But what I like about the Emmy is that
at some point.
AM2R is the best Metroid 2 you're ever gonna get because Samus Returns is not that good compared to AM2R. Or Dread for that matter, because Dread makes AM2R makes Sam Dread.
What about the Emmy?
The Emmy, what I was gonna say was that what I like about the Emmy is that even when you get out and you go to a different entry point, the Emmy might be there because it wanders off, like because it has its own AI in the game.
It just does its own thing, it's almost like it's sort of a living creature. But yeah, like, the Emmys can be best described as, future sci-fi Terminators. Can't be killed. Well, I mean, they're borderline invincible, though they can be killed with a specific weapon. They can't be reasoned with. If all they do is hunt you down until either you or they
Kill
kick
you.
the bucket. And once they do grab you, it's complete RNG as to when you'll be able to counter them for a split second, before they just decide to insta-kill you. Oh, and to make you see that game over screen time and time again.
Yep. And I like how deflecting melee countering them is randomized because it adds a bit of challenge to it. Now, can we? No, we're gonna talk about that at the end. Progression in Dread is like AM2R, where you can naturally get them, but you are gonna have to backtrack every now and again.
I will say it's definitely nice that when you do backtrack to a previous area, there's usually a bit of a shake-up. Like when part of the lower part of the planet ends up getting frozen over just after you acquire the gravity suit, which has a sick design, by the way.
And I honestly wish they kept the suit design that you first get, because the new suit is the best. The new suit is the best looking suit in the series. I know.
Anyways,
There's
on the topic of news stuff relating to the suit, I do appreciate some of the upgrades we got introduced in Dread. For example, the Storm missiles are basically the Seeker missiles from the Brian games in AvatarAidan and brought into 2D, and they can pack a punch once you lock on with enough of them. The Storm bombs are not the Storm bombs, the Cross bombs are kind of underutilized, but I do appreciate that puzzles where they are required to be used. It's pretty nice. Don't know why there's a double jump ability when you can get the space jump not too long after, but it's neat, I guess.
I don't know. I'm still confused on why the ice beam is relegated to ice missiles. It just confuses me.
Samus has Metroid DNA at this point.
That still didn't stop her from having an ice beam and Metroid Fusion at the end of the game.
Anyways, out of beams, they also do they brought in the diffusion beam from AvatarAidan. Didn't expect to see that. And it's at least now in a better game. The diffusion beam was
okay.
AvatarAidan to begin with.
Other M is not bad. You guys just hate the story.
I have my issues with the gameplay as well. Anyways, he's back to Dread. Samus also just in general controls damn well. Still not a fan of having to use an analog stick all the time, but once you get used to it, it's not the end of the world.
I love how Samus' control is in this game. My main problem with most Metroids is the controls. The controls are the worst part of most Metroid games. The only time they got control to work well in Metroid, in my opinion, was Fusion, Zero Mission, and to some extent AM2R, even though the analog inputs in AM2R are kind of iffy. But anyway, Dread is the best controlling Metroid game by far. I love how fluent and acrobatic Samus is in this game. It is amazing. Anyway, let's talk about the bosses.
The bosses are pretty damn challenging.
Kraid kicked my ass a lot.
Nice that Kraid is the only boss to return from a prior game. Most of the roster is completely original, like Corpius, for example. First boss of the game, and it makes it clear to you that you're not going to be able to win in fights all that easily, but I do find that to be the best part. It's really satisfying and to get to grips with all of Samus' abilities, using a boss's attack patterns, and to be able to just utterly destroy it in a successful run. Especially when you can get a counter. That's tough to pull off, and that's a lot of free damage, complete with a badass cinematic.
All I know is that I don't remember what boss it was. I think it was one of the. It's one of the ones after the gravity suit, where you could perform a shine spark and you could just one hit that phase.
Yeah, that's actually another thing I really do love about Dread: the sequence breaking opportunities. It's possible to get to Kraid, and after you pick up the Morph Ball bombs, and they've actually got a little secret way to damage him in that arena using a Morph Ball launcher that's activated with bombs, which is a nice touch.
I think just using your abilities in this game is fun. Like even Shine Park, I'm not a huge fan of Shine Sparking, but Shine Park Spark puzzles in Metroid Dread are the best in the series. Okay, guys, just play Dread. We're just saying, please, just play Dread. Just play Dread, please.
Well, I mean, now we should probably address the elephant in the room, Raven Beak.
Oh, Raven Beak is the best boss in the entire series.
Raven Beak is actually a pretty cool villain. First time in so long that we actually see any Chozo, and it's trying to kill us.
Well, we did see a Chozo after we first encountered Ravenbeak, and he was nice, but then he died.
Oh yeah, Quiet Robe, that scene.
Quiet Robe, I'm here to tell you that Ravenbeak is basically doing this. I am your papa.
Yeah, I really do like this scene with Quiet Robe where he goes over everything that happens, and what really caps it off for me is just when Samus reassures him that she'll stop what Ravenbeak's doing in the native Chozo language, which it's just like, to some that means nothing. To a Metroid fan who's been with the series for a long time, it's like one of the best moments in the game, bar none.
Yeah, but Ravenbeak as a boss.
Like Ravenbeak's rather no nonsense.
That final. How many times did you die to the final boss?
Like a good few times. Ravenbeak demands that your reflexes are on point.
You gotta be using that you gotta be using that speed shift constantly, basically.
Yeah, phase shift really gets one hell of a workout.
I didn't know this when I first played. After I beat the game, but that sun attack, you can just use a power bomb and get rid of it instantly. I did not know that.
Probably because nobody would actually think to do that.
Well, I didn't think to use storm missiles against the boss.
I do really love the fight against Raven and Beak overall. Oh, really challenging, even with every last upgrade. And I do like the added details that he's not only got a couple of Aeon abilities from Samus Returns, but also shares a couple of attacks with Ridley, almost as if to say he's probably just about as much of a dickhead as Ridley in the grand scheme of things. The only good thing Ravenbeak ever did was donate some of his DNA to Samus back when she was adopted and by a Chozo, but other than that, he's a complete asshole who only used an X-Parasite to lure Samus to the planet so that he could sample her Metroid DNA and make a bunch of clones of Metroid Samus to, conquer the galaxy. Because reasons. And one of the best parts about the ending of Dread is just when Samus loses her shit and screams, meanwhile sucking the life out of Ravenbeak. I think once her Metroid powers just fully take hold, like that shit was amazing.
It's so weird to me now that we go from, it's just a bounty hunter to Samus is a fucking Metroid now. Also,
part Metroid.
Well, you know what I mean. Like basically,
Robe X would ultimately downplay the more Metroid aspects of this, ladder of DNA samples that's floating about in Samus at this point.
I just have to. Ravenbeak is my favorite boss of all Metroid. I'm stupid and didn't use power bombs or storm missiles when I played the boss, so smooth brain over here, but I didn't have to use easy strats to beat him, so kind of big brain actually. But yeah,
nothing's satisfying than pulling off a successful counter in the Ravenbeak fight.
Yes, that flashy maneuver. what makes it great is that Metroid Dread isn't a bad-looking game. It is at its native 1600 by 900 resolution, like most Switch games, making it technically the first HD Metroid game. The soundtrack is, if I had like a negative with Dread and it's not that big,
Dread's OST never really got me.
Not as good as Samus Returns.
Samus Returns had the Chozo Laboratory.
It had Ridley Phase 3. You know how much I love Ridley Phase 3.
Yes, I know. Proteus Ridley's his boss themes were pretty good, but yeah, Dread, and as far as music goes, just never really caught me. That's basically the one flaw in the soundtrack.
Yeah. But overall, Dread is not only one of my new favorite Switch games, not only my favorite Metroid game, but one of my new favorite games of all time. Like right on the line in top 10. Like it's like a number 11 on my GG site, on my GG profile.
Well, as for me, Dread is absolutely one of the best Metroid games of all time, but I'll need to give it a while to see how it stacks up to Fusion and the first two Prime titles, because, well...
Prime 4?
Still waiting for that.
I know we're all waiting for that.
Prime 1 and 2 are really based games.
I know we're all waiting for Prime... I know we're all waiting for Prime 4, but I haven't played the Prime game, so I'm not prepared yet.
Fix that. But Dread was a really good game, and reminded me that yes, Nintendo can actually put out titles that aren't just reusing the same general shtick every time, you know. Dread shows that Mercury Steam in particular can make some damn good games that could be considered one of the best in their franchise. It's done so much right that Retro Studios has got quite a bit of pressure on them to make Prime 4 as good as it can be. But we'll wait and see for that.
I actually wonder, does Nintendo own Mercury Steam now?
Probably not.
Here, I'm gonna check real quick.
Otherwise, they'd have exclusive rights to the Castlevania Lords of Shadow series.
I heard those games are good. All I know is that, yeah, Mercury Steam definitely gives Retro Studios run for its money from what I heard. But I don't know. I think Retro and Goodfeel are one of the better Nintendo side teams. Like, I don't know about you, but like Yoshi's Woolly World is like one of the best 2D platformers.
Anyways.
So, 2021 overall, what'd you think?
There was some hits, but I either just largely skipped over them, or only really ended up seeing the weaker ones. 2021 was just
meh.
Kind of there overall.
Like, I mean, you still haven't played. I would have expected you to play at least. Like, it doesn't even need a powerful PC. At least you could have played Final Fantasy V Pixel Remaster.
And that took a while to come out. Probably, before 20.
Wait, did it come out in 20? I'm pretty sure it came out in 2021.
Anyways, it's like Neo 2 and Metroid Dread are my personal favorite picks for the year. Yeah, but otherwise it's just been kind of lackluster overall. I mean, hell, this is best seen with
Final Fantasy
V, which had, well, I mean, E3 2021 was pretty much more or less dominated by Nintendo and the reveal of Metroid Dread, which a sign of things to come later that year. Let's just say.
Final Fantasy.
Note, congrats to Dread for winning best action adventure game. Came at the Game Awards. And we were
Yeah.
getting a live performance of Samus's theme from Super Metroid. That was great.
Yeah. I checked. Final Fantasy V came out this year on Picture Remaster came out this year. 2021 overall was not the greatest. Like, I stand by this opinion, even though 2020 was a pretty shitty year in general. It was a great year for video games. Except we don't have PS5s to play Ratchet and Clank. Like, here are some games I can play, but I don't have either the time or the system. Back 4 Blood, Bravely Default 2, Deathloop, Halo Infinite, Hitman 3. It Takes fucking Two, which won the award for Best Game of the Year. Even though I watched the cutscenes, it's basically two people getting over a fucking divorce.
Well, I mean, apparently the best game of 2020 was The Last of Us Part 2.
You're talking to someone who loves that game.
Don't care.
That's for 2020. But overall, I say my game of the year, but like Metroid Dread, but like other follow-ups to that would be Deltarune Chapter 2, Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, and maybe Monster Hunter Rise. But I do need to play Kena because that game is really, really, really addicting so far. But then I realized that Kingdom Hearts PC came out and Kingdom Hearts 2 is too addicting for this world. So I guess that does it.
That it does.
Hopefully we'll get soon. We'll talk about 2018, but from what I can tell from your guys' manuscripts, you guys need to play more games from 2018. Like, you haven't even played Spyro.
Oh, I have.
Oh. Well, then I need to double check. But, like, I remember you were going over the games you played in each year, and you're like, where's Team Sonic Racing? And it didn't even show up in 2019. Is it because you forgot it like most of the people in the world except me?
I tried to.
But you can't. Because the soundtrack is too good for this world. Like Frozen Warehouse is fucking amazing.
Frozen Junkyard. Anyways, I think we should wrap this up.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see y'all next time.